Check out this cover. The Black Terror, first issue. 10 cents gets you a skull-chested hero smashing a Nazi plane with a rifle butt, right in front of screaming crowds and panicked soldiers. Up top, he's billed as America's fighting nemesis of crime. And down in the corner, they remind you to buy war bonds and stamps. Peak 1941 right here. First story page, giant yellow splash with a Nazi plane swooping down, swastika and all. Black Terror and Tim are on top of an armored vehicle, swatting that plane out of the sky with a rifle like it's a fly. A crowd watches in awe, soldiers ready their guns, and the caption lays it out. Meek druggist Bob Benton uses formic ether vapors to become the Black Terror and smash the dark clouds of fascism and tyranny. Inside, front cover hits you with a house ad. Thrills, excitement, action. Black Terror bursting through a page, and right beside him another hero, the Liberator. The text promises that only the Black Terror knows how to deal with dread specters menacing a mighty nation, with his sidekick Tim, the invincible American boy. It's pure hype, and honestly, it works. Now we rewind. Top left, Bob Benton's drugstore. Tim just wants a comic full of action, not reading about jobs. Smash cut to Berlin. Goebbels and Göring are arguing about who's doing more damage to America, propaganda or the army. Then we meet Trupp, their man in the States. He gets orders to take out the Black Terror and sabotage an upcoming air show. Meanwhile, next day at the field, Bob and Tim are on lookout. And right on cue, the hangar explodes in a huge crash. Page 3. Everything's on fire. The Terror twins rush into the blazing hangar. "We've got to save those planes, Tim." Doors are locked, so of course Black Terror goes through the wall instead. There's smoke, flames, and Tim scrambling around the landing gear while Benton muscles the plane to safety. At the bottom, one burning plane roars out of the hangar, and our heroes manage to save it at the last second. Now it turns into a full-on fist fight. Black Terror is hurling gas drums, knocking saboteurs flying. Tim's diving into the scrap too, trading punches while the hangar burns around them. There's even a bit with a tractor used as a weapon. Just when it looks like the crooks are finished, the caption reminds us, "But treachery prevails." Our heroes get jumped from behind and knocked out cold. Next thing they know, Bob and Tim wake up, tied up in the back of a speeding truck. The crooks are planning to dump them somewhere quiet. The boys brace themselves, hit the door with a double kick, and blow it open. The truck barrels down a hill, out of control, and we get a great sequence of it launching off a cliff and crashing in a fiery mess, while our heroes go tumbling out onto the railroad tracks below. Dazed but not finished, Black Terror spots a troop train bearing down on them. The switch is jammed, so he has to sprint for it, muscles screaming. We get a couple of panels of him wrestling the lever over just in time to sidetrack the train. The caption calls it a miracle of strength. Cut to the next day, back at the drugstore. Gene comes in with bad news. City engineer Ed White has been kidnapped, and the crooks mentioned a place on Belleville Road. Bob puts the pieces together. Time for another patrol. Out in the country, Bob and Tim find the only house showing signs of life. "Let's take a look." Sure enough, their bald ringleader peeks out the window. Wrong move. The Terror twins decide to go full cartoon physics. They literally shove the entire house off its foundation from two sides. Walls buckle, crooks tumble, and we get some great one-liners. "Boy, you're right on the beam," or "It's on you," and "Whatever goes up must come down," as the bad guys get flattened. Even with the shack smashed, not everyone's caught. Trupp escapes in a car with their prisoner, the engineer who knows the city's water system. Bob revives him and learns the real plan, poisoning the Kroken Reservoir. Our heroes race after the car, then shortcut through the trees, swinging on lines like budget Tarzans. They drop a tree right onto the road, flip the crook's car, and leap into another round of punches. By the last panel, we're heading straight toward the reservoir, and a much bigger disaster. When wood meets wood and fists meet faces, the Terror and Tim clobber the last of the poison gang. They crack jokes while the Nazis fly into the bushes. Didn't expect to go swimming today. The heroes dive straight into the reservoir and literally shut off the floodgates with their bare hands, fighting the current like human sandbags. By the end, they've saved the city's water, soaking wet, exhausted, and still cracking one-liners. The crooks get away, but miles off on a Nazi cruiser, their boss plots again. "The Black Terror foiled my poison scheme," he snarls, "but tomorrow's victory parade will be his end." He plans to blow up the main water line under Central Avenue, right beneath the crowd. Because, of course, every Golden Age villain has a backup plan before lunch. Cut to the next morning. Göring's plane soars over the Atlantic. He wants a front-row seat to America's destruction. Back in town, Bob and Jean head to the parade. Tim tags along. Bob fakes a headache to slip away, and Jean calls him a sissy. Then she spots something strange. A thug on a rooftop planting bombs. In seconds, Bob vanishes, and the Black Terror reappears. The crowd cheers as tanks roll below, completely unaware what's coming. Our heroes chase the saboteur through the rooftops and down into the sewers. "Something's cooking around here," says Tim, "and it ain't healthy." They slide down a yellow staircase straight into the enemy's secret base and smash through a steel door like it's cardboard. Inside, more Nazis wait with machine guns, but Black Terror and Tim swing into action, fists flying. Explosives are lit, and the only escape is straight up. They crash through the street, right into the middle of the parade, dragging a live bomb behind them. The parade screeches to a halt. Tanks, soldiers, chaos. The Terror shouts, "Don't let us bother you, folks," while tossing bombs skyward before they explode. Tim quips, "These little bundles were intended for you boys." They've saved hundreds of lives, but the ringleader Trupp isn't finished. He grabs Jean and flees. Göring's plane circles overhead to pick him up. The Terror and Tim race after them. Jean is dragged aboard the enemy plane. Black Terror and Tim hijack a yellow stunt plane and take off from the parade float. Yes, right off the float. They leap from one plane to another mid-air, trading punches at 5,000 feet. "Looks like they don't want us aboard," Benton yells. "Oh, gee, that hurts my feelings," Tim answers, slugging a Nazi off the wing. Inside the cockpit, the Terror decks Göring himself, rescues Jean, and shoves the plane into a dive. They parachute to safety over a bridge, landing perfectly on their feet. Jean laughs. "The Black Terror could have captured Göring, but he preferred to save my life." Bob smiles back. "Well, if we all buy war bonds and stamps, we'll get Göring anyway." Cue patriotic music and fade out on that classic Golden Age moral. This was Black Terror #1, published in 1941 by Nedor Comics, a wild mix of pulp patriotism, slapstick violence, and wartime propaganda. It's loud, it's chaotic, and it's exactly why the Golden Age ruled. Heroes who punched Nazis before it was cool, and still made time for bad puns along the way.